Adesuwa was born into a family of four, three boys and one girl. She was the only daughter of the James family, a well-respected household from Edo State, located in southern Nigeria, within the South-South geopolitical zone. From the moment she was born in the early 90s, Adesuwa was admired as the most beautiful baby in the hospital that day. Her beauty, charm, and presence made her the pride of her father and the apple of her parents' eyes. Being the only girl, she was adored and pampered beyond measure. While other girls in the village helped their mothers in the kitchen or with chores, Adesuwa spent her days playing with dolls or running around the market square with friends. Her father, Pa James, a wealthy cocoa merchant, was a man of light, respected, ambitious, and full of love for his family. He would often dismiss his wife's attempts to correct Adesuwa's carefree attitude, saying, "Leave her, she's still a child." Her brothers, however, were trained early in life. Pa James ensured they each learned a trade. Timothy, the first son, learned carpentry, Daniel, the second, learned mechanic, and the youngest boy, Alexander, was enrolled in tailoring. But Adesuwa, his precious daughter, was shielded from all forms of hard labor. Then tragedy struck. On the 11th of October 1982, Pa James died in a ghastly motor accident while transporting goods from a neighboring state. Two tankers collided with his vehicle, slicing it in two and igniting a fire that destroyed cocoa worth over 20 million Nigerian nairas. His death shattered the family. Adesuwa wept uncontrollably, and her mother, his lifelong love, was never the same. Just 3 months later, she passed away from a brief illness, unable to cope with the grief of losing her soulmate. The once happy, close-knit James family crumbled. Pa James' brothers, instead of supporting the children, fought bitterly over his property. With no guardians to protect them, the children were scattered across different relatives' homes. Adesuwa was sent to live with Uncle Tony. His wife turned out to be the devil's assistant, wicked, cold-hearted, and abusive. Adesuwa, once cherished, now suffered like a servant. She was denied food, clothes, and schooling. Forced to hawk groundnuts on the streets, she was beaten for even the smallest mistakes. The chores she once avoided as a child now became her daily torment. With every passing day, Adesuwa faded. Malnourished, unkempt, and broken, the beautiful girl from Edo now looked like a shadow of herself. At night, she would cry herself to sleep, haunted by her mother's voice echoing in her dreams. Adesuwa, be hardworking. No one knows tomorrow. She prayed for deliverance. And God answered. Auntie Grace, her mother's younger sister, pleaded with Uncle Tony and eventually took Adesuwa into her home in Calabar. There, Adesuwa found healing. Auntie Grace treated her with love, but she also taught her the values of hard work, cleanliness, and respect. She enrolled Adesuwa in a government school and introduced her to beadmaking. Slowly, Adesuwa began to bloom again. Years later, Adesuwa graduated as one of the top students at Obafemi Awolowo University in Ibadan. Though nothing could replace the love of her late parents, the kindness of Auntie Grace restored her dignity and gave her a second chance at life. Adesuwa eventually became one of the top beadmakers in Nigeria. She built a thriving business and a name for herself. But more importantly, she became a woman of strength and wisdom. She vowed to raise her own children differently, to instill in them the value of hard work, regardless of how privileged their upbringing might be. Years passed, and she reunited with her brothers. Sadly, Alexander had died due to the maltreatment he suffered in the hands of the relatives he stayed with. The pain of their childhood experiences never truly left them, but Adesuwa chose to turn her pain into purpose. She founded a children's advocacy agency, dedicated to helping orphans and vulnerable children who suffer abuse and neglect. The agency not only rescued such children but also trained them in useful skills, tailoring, soap making, hairdressing, carpentry, so they could become self-reliant, responsible adults. Her past became the foundation of her mission. No child under my watch will suffer the way I did. Adesuwa's story is not just one of loss, It's a story of survival, growth, and becoming. A woman who once knew only comfort, then tasted pain, and rose with purpose, to become a voice for the voiceless, a mother to the motherless, and a hero to many. Moral lesson. Adesuwa's story teaches that life is unpredictable, and while hardship may break us, resilience, kindness, hard work, and purpose can transform even the deepest pain into a powerful legacy of hope and change. Thank you for listening. See you next time.